The tactics my ex-husband used to control me. Now, our government, believe it or not, uses the same ones on you. Now, this might sound a little intense, but let me show you what I'm talking about. See, I got married very young, really young, and it wasn't a good marriage. It was filled with fear, manipulation, and a lot of control. And in that marriage, my ex-husband decided how the expenses would be split. Now, I was responsible for paying all the utilities, the groceries, the kids' clothes and sports, and all the daily needs. Now, I want you to keep this in mind. He earned 3 times what I did, but he only paid the monthly mortgage. And at the end of every month, I was always broke. And he knew it. He used it. He would tell me, "Tammy, you're so bad with money." And I carried that belief for years because that's how mind control works. You sprinkle a lie with a little grain of truth so it can seem believable. And unless you stop to examine it closer, you just keep believing the lie. Now, what was that lie? It was that I was bad with money. And the grain of truth, well, I was always running out of money at the end of the month. But not because I was bad with money. It was because I didn't earn enough money to cover the expenses that I was held responsible for. Now, let me show you exactly how the government uses this same tactic on you. You've heard the politicians stand up and shout, "You're broke because of those rich people. They don't pay their fair share of taxes." Well, here's the grain of truth they sprinkle in. Some people do have a lot of money. And here's the lie they are covering up and they hope you never ask about. Where does my money really go? That's called the distraction tactic. They want you blaming all those rich people so you don't stop and blame them, the government. They told you you're broke because someone else has too much money and they don't pay their fair share. But that's a lie. They want you to believe the reason you can't afford groceries is because someone, somewhere, with too much money didn't pay their fair share, even though it's actually the government that takes more of your paycheck than anyone else ever will. Well, you're angry at someone else who has more. You're not looking at the government, the real reason you're broke. You're not asking why so much of your paycheck disappears before you even touch it. You're not asking why that you go to work every single day until June 1st just to pay your taxes to the government. June 1st. It's a distraction tactic, and it's working. But here's the truth. Making money isn't evil. Making money isn't greedy. Money is the damn fuel that funds your life. But keeping you broke makes sure the government keeps their power because broke people are easy to control. That's the government's playbook. They tell you that you need them to give you free stuff. Like out of the kindness of their heart, they're actually giving you their money. But there's a problem because it's not their money. The government doesn't have any money of its own, except for the money you, my friend, the taxpayer, gave them. That's the distraction tactic. And if that doesn't work, guess what? They're going to pull out the big one, fear. I heard Charlie Kirk say something once that hit me like a freight train. Fear is the weapon used to maintain control. And I know that because that's how abusive relationships work. They create invisible rules, rules you didn't agree to, can't see and can't follow. And when you break one, the punishment is very extreme, way more than what the crime deserves. So what do when faced with the fear tactic? Well, you probably stop trying. You stop speaking up because now you know what's coming. You fear the consequences. even if you stay quiet, even if you follow every single rule, you can see it doesn't work because they use confusion. They change the rules. They rewrite the meaning of words. They strip away your traditions in the name of progress until one day you wake up too scared to speak, too fearful to fight back, and too overwhelmed to take action. That's not an accident. That's the design. That's the fear tactic. Now, you might be thinking, but Tammy, this is just a story about your bad marriage. The government isn't like that. So let me show you exactly how the government used fear against its own people. I want to talk to you about the Freedom Convoy. Led by ordinary, hardworking people, it ignited a spontaneous uprising of Canadian patriotism and unity. Thousands of Canadians, people like you and me, finally stood up against rules and regulations, and they said, enough. And the government, what did it do? They panicked. They didn't listen. They didn't negotiate. They punished the people. They imposed the Emergency Act on its citizens. They imposed harsh punishments that didn't match the supposed crimes. They froze people's bank accounts. They jailed hardworking citizens, and they dragged out court cases for years. And as a matter of fact, the court cases are still going on, even though our courts have said the government didn't just overreact, that the government's use of the Emergencies Act was unreasonable and beyond its legal authority. And all this is done to use fear as a tactic of control. Not because the citizens were violent, not because they were criminals, but because they united the people against the government. Because they stepped outside of the standard script. Stay silent. Just accept your lot in life, citizen. Because they showed the country and the world that ordinary, hard-working people still hold the real power. And that scared the hell out of the government. Because the second we, the hard-working people, unite, the government loses control. And you know what? They know it. Now you might be thinking, but Tammy, I'm not a protester. I'm not fighting the government. I'm just trying to survive at my job. But here's the thing. The same tactics the government used on the Freedom Convoy, your company uses them on you. There's these invisible rules that you can't follow. Punishments that don't match the crime. Watching others break the rules with zero consequences, well, you get punished for speaking up. And it's the same fear tactic. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. The government proved the model works. Then they pushed it into your workplace through ESG scores that could hurt the company finances, through DEI mandates in the name of fairness, and through institutional pressure that makes every company adopt the same broken system. The one where performance doesn't matter anymore. Where hard work doesn't get rewarded. Where if you check a box, you win. Not if you're the most qualified person. And this is not an accident. That's the infection that's spreading. And I want to share this with you. You know, after I left my marriage, I realized something real crazy. I had always focused on how I feared him. That's part of the control. But in a flash of insight, I realized the truth. He actually feared me. He feared that the minute I realized my full power, he'd lose control, that I wouldn't need him anymore, that the rules would flip in my favor, and he'd be the one exposed, and that I would leave. And you know what? He was right. But does that sound familiar to you? Because that's the same energy and tactics coming down from the people in power right now. It's why they twist the truth. It's why they move the goalposts. That's why they have been busy passing all these damn laws just to keep you silent. Because they fear you. They know what you, the hard-working, ordinary people, are capable of. And the minute you know it too, their days are numbered. You don't need to take my word for it. Look around. You already see what's happening. How the focus is on control, not prosperity for us, the Canadian citizens. And the only question is, I have to ask you, will you believe what you can see with your very own eyes? So here's what you can do right now. First off, stop damn apologizing for wanting money. Money is fuel. Wanting more isn't greedy. It is damn smart. Money is your freedom of choice. That's why they take your money first, but make sure they keep theirs. That's why they train you to believe that people with money are bad. Second, name the fear when you feel it, because fear works by staying invisible. It tells your brain that staying silent is survival, and it's not. Because when you speak the fear, you break it. When you stand up, you can beat that fear. And third, find your people, because the government fears unity more than your anger. The Freedom Convoy proved it. Find one person who sees what you see. Then find another. Start small, start local, but start. Because that's how it begins. That's how we take our power back. Because believe me, my friend, power will never be given back to you. You have to take your power back. You are not fragile. You are not broken. You're not uneducated. You are powerful. You are the one who keeps the lights on in this country, who pays the bills, who builds the families and the real businesses that make money and profit, who runs the teams, who shows up, and you get damn stuff done. The hard-working people built this country, and it's time you started winning again. Silence for us is no longer an option. It's time for us to take our damn country back, so let's go!